I've been tapped in with influencers for like a long time. Like I ghostwrite a lot of music for influencers and different things like that. And so I was aware of like Musically before most like industry people were. And I just saw lip sync videos popping off like these songs that no one ever heard of before. And they were just like going crazy, more so than Spotify, more so than like any other discovery platform. Like that was where kids were discovering new music. And so I was like, yo, this is it. And I started telling people, I started talking to influencers and being like, yo, let's make some money doing this. And they were like, how? I was like, just trust me, like it'll work.
Welcome to the Creative Hills Podcast, everybody. Today we have a very special guest. Our guest today is an amazing singer, music producer, content creator, vegan, and much more.
Vegan and much more.
He's not only gotten millions of views on YouTube, but also recently went on a tour with Charlie Rocket, where they went across America doing random acts of kindness. Introducing, welcome, the one and only, Max Loui.
You sound That's what's up.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So it's interesting. So I actually met you back a few months ago. I remember it was my last week in Vegas. I met you my last week. It was during the Charlie Rocket event. He just happened to be there, and you were there performing for a bunch of people, just performing you and your guitar. How was that experience like?
It's fun. I always love just connecting with people without like a bunch of music in the background. It's a different experience when it's just me and the guitar. I feel like I'm like closer to the audience. So.
How did that come about in the first place? Like Charlie, he just hit you up one day and was just like, "Yo, let's go on tour."
No, so actually, like, I kind of randomly moved into this like content mansion place in Malibu, and he was living there too, and just like became homies and vibed on like music, and
it was just a vibe.
Yeah, we became good friends, and then one day he was like, "I'm going on tour. Want to come?" And I was like, "Fuck it, let's go!" And we went, and it was amazing. It was really amazing.
That's dope, honestly. Like, it's crazy how one thing leads to another. After that, like you guys were there doing good deeds, and like for everyone watching, like, what would you? I know there's so many things you do, from like content creation to being music. Like overall, what's your main focus? Who are you? Who's Max?
All that. It's hard to pin it down, and that's something that I am focusing on this year, is really like prioritizing different things, because I support a lot of creators. Like I run a business where I basically get a bunch of creators will post like a TikTok, like the same dance to one song or something, and it'll blow up like an artist song or a brand or an app or stuff like that. So that's become a really big movement, and it feels really good to help support a lot of creators. So that's taken up a lot more of my time in the past year and a half than before. I used to just be like 100% music all the time.
Yeah.
My fucking earring keeps falling off. Shout out to the artists that made these in New York, but for some reason they keep falling off. But they're really dope.
Shout out to them.
Anyway, yeah, this year 2021 is really gonna be about my own art and my own music.
This is the one where you really push the music more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I guess like going back, like how long have you been in LA for now?
About 2.5 years.
20 years. Originally born in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Why you're out here now, and how did your life change since you've been here?
Crazy, man. It's like LA is a different vibe, because it's like everybody from their own hometowns. It seems like, not everybody, but like a lot of people come here because they kind of like did the most that they could do in their hometowns, and they had big
reached a
dreams.
peak.
Yeah, and they had like big dreams of doing something in entertainment, music or something like that, and they came out here to do it. And so it's like everybody on that same level, and then all of a sudden we're all like in this big pool, and it's kind of like some people treat it competitive, some people treat it collaborative. It just depends on your mentality. And
How do you treat it?
Collaboratively, for sure. When I first came here, I was like, Hawaii is very like family oriented. Like you just meet a random person and it's like you're already want to help them.
What's that word that Stitch says from
Ohana.
Lilo? Ohana?
Yeah.
Ohana.
and that mentality is a real thing. Like in Hawaii, it's very people just want to do good and like help people out. And I don't know, when I came here first, it was a big culture shock because it was like fucking people would act like they're your best friend and they want to like help, but it was just because they wanted to discover what your most, you know, exploitable quality was and use it and take advantage of it and get whatever they wanted out of it and then move on to the next. And so it was just like kept running into that type of relationship over and over and just like meeting people and thinking it's gonna be really cool, and then they were just like trying to use me for whatever. And then eventually I figured out the mentality of certain people here.
Yeah.
And rose above it. You know, I think it's an amazing place as well. It's just I had to kind of everybody has to kind of go through
spots.
that. Go through that initial.
Yeah, like honestly, like one thing I want to thank you for is like I remember my first week here, like you made it pretty easy. Like you introduced me to, you invited me to like a music video dinner, release dinner that you had, and I remember that was really cool. And I remember at one point like you literally stood up, like you almost like did the thing where you were like about to like hit the wine glass, like you're just like, hey everybody, you're like, this is Anthony, he just moved here from Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate that, like that makes little things like that, you know, like are noticeable. So I thank you for that.
Of course, bro.
And then after that, like honestly, like crazy ass story. Like I remember after that, like we were all supposed to meet up after, and like randomly, like I end up like, I guess side story, like I end up just completely my first week in LA, like I end up going in a car and I end up deciding to pick some other people up, and out of nowhere, like they would just ask me, they're like, hey, like, is it cool if we smoke in here? And I was just like, I'm new here. I'm just like, yeah, cool. Like, whatever, like, sure. And then like immediately, like right after, like I get pulled over and I'm just like, fuck.
Oh,
like they make me do a DUI test. Like they make me do all these things and I'm just like, fuck. And like, it was crazy. Like they set it up for you to like fail that. Like I was sober and like I almost failed it. And like, it was crazy. And like, just little things like that made me realize like how easy it is to get caught up in like the wrong places at the wrong time out here. And it's just like little things like that is like, you can't expect, you know, like, what do you think has grounded you to be, like to stay sane out here and not change from your morals or your values? Cause I know that you set yourself at a certain values and you can tell like certain things that you just won't do, like sober life max.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I chant. I practice a form of Buddhism that we chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and it's like a practice where we basically kind of like focus on. It's a scroll that represents ourself, and so it's kind of like a mirror. And when you chant, it grounds you and reminds you of your infinite nature. Like, you know, Buddhism talks about every single person having infinite, unlimited power within them, and that you have everything that you really need in the universe right here within you now. Like you don't need anything else. And so in LA, where not even just in LA, in the entertainment industry and social media, where the constant narrative is, you know, you need this or you need that to be cool or to fit in, or you need to like wear this to be accepted, or you need to be hotter or have a better jawline or like change your hair color or whatever, like constantly just being bombarded with why you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Having a daily practice where it's affirming that you are not only good enough, but you are overflowing with abundance, and so much so that you can help other people. That really changes the game and keeps you.
Yeah, it definitely inspired me in a way. Cause honestly, like I remember like, even like we just happened like full circle. A lot of things led to one thing, and somehow we ended up together on New Year's and Christmas. And it's just like, it's crazy, like how that works out in first place, but also like seeing you, like, although honestly, like, that group of people weren't necessarily like party animals, honestly. But at the same time, it's like we did drink a little bit, and it's just easy. I see it immediately of you, like not even a little bit tempted. You're just like, no, I'm good. And I love that, honestly. You released a music video for your song Sweater featuring Dr. Chill, Chris Cunningham, and Mozart. What's the story behind that video?
Yeah, I was in Columbus, Ohio at the time with Charlie, and man, it was crazy. The riots were going on. It was a super heavy energy at the time, and I personally wanted to make something not so any-sided, but more just something that could speak to everybody, because I felt like everybody was feeling really strong you know, injustice in the system from all sides. And I think the thing that we often forget as human beings is that we're all connected, and that ultimately, deep down, we all want the same thing. Like essentially, we want to be happy, and we want to be respected, and we want to feel safe, and we want to feel like good about our lives, you know, and that we whatever. And some people obviously think that for whatever twisted reason that them being superior to other people is happiness to them, but that's not really happiness to them, and they will discover that once they are in that state. And obviously they're not happy. Like people that feel that, if you just look at them in their lives, they don't look happy. So I just wanted to make a piece of music and art that could speak to everybody and not in any way be biased, but more just really say like, hey, deep down, we're all people. This skin or this whatever you classify yourself as in any type of label is just a sweater, meaning it's just like something material on the outside of you, and it's not really truly who you are. That's why it's called sweater.
Sweater.
And to see like the inside of everyone, which is all the same.
I love that. That's dope. What's it called? Along with that, like other things that I saw on YouTube was that you've also been in a lot of nerd pickup girls videos. Or I guess the title, to be exact, would be like Nerd Picks Up Girls with Amazing Voice.
Yeah.
Like, and you've been on like a bunch of big YouTubers videos, such as Kobe Person and whatnot. And how did those come about? And what was it like for you shooting those videos?
Yeah, those are pretty funny. It's just LA. Like you meet people at parties and stuff, and I met that whole crew. It's some type of creator event. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I think they heard my music and were like, "Yo, we should collab." And
you're like,
we did.
Say less.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to do the nerd one?
Wolf. There's a guy named Wolf.
It's his idea.
Yep.
Nice. For those videos, do you plan on doing more of those videos? Do you want to tap in more into YouTube as well?
I definitely want to get back to YouTube, but I'm gonna do it a little differently. Not so much. It's hard because like I do so many things. Like I like so many things. I like pranks a lot, but I also like very high art, like super cool, trippy stuff that takes a lot more effort and planning and isn't so just whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Also, so another thing that I like about you that a lot of musicians or especially musicians aren't really into is that you're also like the bridge between a lot of things. So not only do you make your own music, but you also like connect the dots with influencers. So you're one of the people that are big on connecting influencers with brands or certain labels or certain things, and you make sure you end up getting people opportunities. How do you get into that space?
Yeah, it's about 2.5 years ago. I was just noticing that like musically at the time, it's TikTok now, but back then as musically was just like there was all these songs that were popping up and becoming really big, but like the artists had no teams, no marketing, didn't even know that they were becoming famous until they were just all of a sudden their song was like huge. They were like, what the fuck is this? And everybody was just like, not like people in the industry didn't really understand what was going on, but I've been tapped in with influencers for like a long time. Like I ghostwrite a lot of music for influencers and different things like that. And so I was aware of like musically before most like industry people were. And I just saw lip sync videos popping off like these songs that no one ever heard of before. And they were just like going crazy, more so than Spotify, more so than like any other discovery platform. Like that was where kids were discovering new music. And so I was like, yo, this is it. And I started telling people, I started talking to influencers and being like, yo, let's make some money doing this. And they were like, how? I was like, just trust me, like it'll work. And so I started putting together these packages and saying like, okay, like going to labels and going to independent artists and being like, I have like this 50 people that can lip sync to this video, like to your song, pay this much money. And some of them just like laugh and be like, are you fucking crazy? Like you want me to pay kids to lip sync to my video? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so it took a couple months for people to understand the concept. And But
Now it's like now everybody's doing
it's
that.
the industry standard, and
Yeah.
told everybody that, and I was like, dude, this is all that matters. Like all the other Spotify playlist bullshit, everything else is like you're dancing around like the true heart of organic discovery. This is how people are literally just finding new shit because they're looking up to these influencers, and if they're influencers that they look up to are doing something with a song, then they want to do it too because it's like they copy what they do, you know. And you see like 10 people that you look up to all doing the same lip sync or dance or challenge or whatever. You're gonna then do it because it's like all of a sudden now it's trending, and this is too many secrets we can't be giving away. But but yeah, basically, I mean, now like every record label has an influencer marketing division.
Yeah.
And a TikTok, like a TikTok expert. Like all the labels have TikTok experts, and basically they're just like white labeling my services or like other people like me, and just like they find a bunch of different people and put together packages of TikTokers. And
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's what Boost plays. Like Lil Nas X, like TikTok was responsible a lot for his. Now he's more over. He passed Diamond. Like I think it's like 14 times platinum. So it's just like stuff like that. It's like really like all the songs that are on TikTok right now are the ones booming.
It is crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
We had some super viral songs, and from there it just went crazy.
It's called for you yourself, like how I guess for every artist you'd recommend every artist right now trying to be on the come up, you would say the best route right now is really investing time into TikTok still?
It depends. It's really good. Some people aren't comfortable with it, and some people like don't. I don't know.
Like if it fits you, it fits you. If it doesn't, don't do it. Don't force yourself to do something that isn't suited for you.
Well, no, I do think everybody needs to learn how to get with the times and move on to the relevant like platforms for sure.
Yeah.
But like there are some artists who are not, they don't want to be the face of their own music. They would rather be like in the background or like writing stuff more or like stuff like that. And they don't realize that until they start. Cause like I advise a lot of artists as well. And when I start like helping them get, more comfortable on camera on TikTok and stuff, they are like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like I'd rather just sing and have my music heard. But nowadays you can like, dude, influencers blow up so big without any music at all. And then one day decide they want to be a musician. Like literally they're just like, hey, I want to try music now. Yeah. Make a fucking shitty ass song, post it and get like 2 million plays the next day.
That's true.
Just because like they have a following and they've grown like a group of people, a real community that like really fucks with them for their personality and who they are and like how they represent themselves online. So that's the game now.
That's the game.
And like labels don't care like how talented you are. If you don't have that, if you don't have your own like momentum and following, it doesn't really matter. So it's kind of super important.
All right, Max. The year is 2025. Where do you see Max being at? Where is Max?
Damn. In a teleportation device, exploring multiple dimensions, space-time continuum, breaking the fabrics of traditional norms of being a human being, and
You transcended at that time. You completely.
No cap though, for real. I'm like very into quantum physics, and like if I didn't do music, it would be science.
Really? Has that been around? Has that been a thing for a minute?
Yeah, since I was like a little kid, I've been like obsessed with space travel and science and stuff like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Give us a fun fact about science that you think most people don't know.
Buddhism is science that hasn't been proven yet, or that is still being proven. Like there's like concepts in Buddhism that over the past like 10 years or so are one by one just all being proven now. Like really crazy out there, like quantum physics, like super trippy shit. But there's things that still have yet to be proven, but like are definitely true.
So when you found out about Charlie, it was a no-brainer for you because like he's really into quantum physics and all that, quantum leaps and all that. So immediately you were like, oh, I'm about it.
Yeah, like I said, we vibed immediately. It was just like we had known each other already. It was pretty trippy.
So, from seeing like Charlie or being around that circle and seeing all the people, what was like some of your biggest takeaways from all that?
Man, Charlie himself, his like energy, his just like it takes a lot to give that much, you know? Like I think there's a lot of people out there who consider themselves healers and givers and kind of benevolent, but to do it every freaking day on camera
Yeah,
in front of a bunch of strangers in a new city and then drive 15 hours and do it again every freaking day.
yeah.
Like,
I feel like most people don't think about it. Like just I mean, I remember being in Vegas and like the cafeteria of just like seeing like the what it could be like behind the scenes of like honestly there's exhaustion. Like everyone gets exhausted at one point. Like you could only do so much.
yeah. People see like 10% of it, you know, on camera, they see like that part of it, but then behind the scenes, what goes into that is so much work and so much like spiritual energy. And I just have huge respect for Charlie, man. He's like an unlimited battery of positive energy. It's like really, really crazy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. For I guess for the future, like I know that was like a cool little tour or a different experience of a tour, I guess, for a normal experience. Where do you see where do you see I guess your future? Like I think you told me you wanted to be like the biggest artist in the world, right? That's the goal at the end of the day.
That's one of them. Honestly, like that's cool. Like, you know, music and influencing people in a positive way through art has always been one of my, you know, biggest dreams and passions. But like, there's something much deeper and much bigger that I know I'm meant for. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but yeah.
You feel like you discover a little bit of that every so often along the way. Like, is it kind of one of those feelings of every time you think this is it, it's not really it, but it's something getting closer to that thing?
Yeah, yeah. Like it feels right. You know, anytime I'm like live performing on stage in front of actual people and like connecting with the audience in that way, like that feels really, really right. You know, right now with this whole thing, the online presence is like a way more. It's like the way to connect with people. But sometimes when it's literally just like you and your phone, like you know you're connecting with people, but not really in the same room. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to. I'm used to performing for actual people in front of me, and I know that it's still powerful and you can still reach tons of people that way. It just feels like different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the past I don't know few years or so, I've just felt like there's way more. Like music is going to be a huge part of my life, but there's going to be way bigger, more ways I'm going to contribute.
I love that. I love that. Like, yeah, especially right now. Like right now is a crazy time to be alive. Like with everything that just even happened. What was it? Yesterday? Like all that stuff is just crazy. I don't know. One of the things that I'd like to see, at least in 2021, is just more of finding ways to get people to see the similarities between them and not the differences. Because I think everything always ends up somehow being political when you don't have to get there. It's like why? It's like at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Like I just started learning this new thing. I forgot who said it, but it was something along the concept was at the end of the day, like we're obsessed with these fictional stories that we create for ourselves. At the end of the day, it's like we can argue like America, blah, 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 blah. But it's just like, and I'm grateful for this country, but and to be like, this is all I know. You get me? At the end of the day, this is all I know. But at the same time, it's like, there's so much more beyond that. A lot of times we can't get past of like, at the end of the day, we're all just fucking humans. Like these nationalities, they're based off like a piece of land that really has imaginary boundaries that we put amongst each other, you know? And I think that's something crazy, you know? It's
true.
It's just interesting. It's wild. What do you want to see more of coming towards 2021?
More empowered people who are less seeking outside themselves and more seeking within themselves. And I've seen that actually a lot in 2020. People just say that it was like the worst year ever, but not for everybody.
Yeah.
for me, it was, I feel sort of bad saying this, but it was fucking probably the best year of my life.
Likewise.
2020 was amazing. I built things that I've wanted to build forever. Like I built a huge team of powerhouse influencers, and now I'm able to like literally direct a narrative. Like I got hit up by like a former Republican super PAC who wanted to like sway the election to Biden, and like hired our influence, like crazy shit like that, because the power that we have as a team is just like insane. I've built like 3 companies in 2020. I've traveled the country more than I ever have before. Like, yeah, it's been awesome. So I really think life is what you make of it, and I want to see more people take life into their own hands. I also think that the whole stay-at-home school thing, like the online school thing, is actually like it. Yeah, for a lot of people, education-wise, it can be considered negative because you're not having the same kind of learning experience. But most people, my experience in school was never positive anyway. I didn't learn shit.
You didn't like school?
Really? No, fuck that. Like I hated it. But I think it's empowering for a lot of people, because now they don't have to physically be at like in this one space for like all day. So they're instead able to do other things with their lives and discover new things about themselves, new, things that they're passionate about, and like actually pursue them because they have more time. Obviously there's a lot more depressed people now too, and suicide rates have skyrocketed. So maybe it's not that great. I don't know. I'm just saying like life is what you make of it. And I want to see more empowered youth taking control of their situation and not like waiting for the rest of the world to get fixed or to get better. Cause like, nah.
I think most of the time we're looking for external solutions for internal problems. And I think that's the reality of it, is like we wish things were better, or like we wish that person down the block would be a better person. But then it's like, are we being a better person? And a lot of times we don't ask those questions of, are we the ones responsible for such and such? It's like we can't control necessarily the things that happen to us, but we can control how we react. And it's like if someone does something to you, are you going to react just as bad? And it's just like those are little things that we can't control. For everyone on TikTok right now, everyone on all social media platforms, or everyone out there like right now, like trying to get into music or trying to get in, especially music, because that's your niche. What advice would you give to them?
Don't wait for any the perfect situation. Don't wait for anything. If I've learned anything in this past year, it's that you never know how long you have, and the people who you think are going to make everything, or not even the people, but the systems that you think are going to like take you there or whatever, like be self-reliant, depend on yourself and get shit done. If you have goals, fucking do it. Like go for it. Don't wait for anybody. Like I have so many conversations with people that are like, oh yeah, I want to do this first, and then I want to like get signed, and then the label's gonna like fix my life for me and make me famous. It's like, I'm an advisor to like 3 major labels right now, and they don't. Be careful how I say this. They're just people. They're just people.
Yeah.
They're teams of people who come together, who have ideas and who try them out, and they have a lot of money, so they can try out a bunch of ideas, and then eventually one of them works.
Yeah.
Everybody can have ideas. Everybody can form a team. Everybody can come up with concepts and kind of figure out less wasteful ways of experimenting and do things for free until something pops. Like, every single artist out there, more so than ever before because of TikTok and social media, has the power to be their own engine. It's just a matter of like pulling that together, and how much do you want it, and how much are you willing to dedicate like learning that side of things, not just the creative side. Because like there's a lot of people who are really creative but not really organized, or not really business oriented, or not savvy with anything tech or anything else other than just making dope music. And that's cool. But like I said before, labels don't care how talented you are. Like it's great, but they care that your talent gets you a fan base and a following.
Yeah.
and like a strong momentum behind yourself, because then they know how to monetize what you've already built and how to like expand that to a bigger system. So I would just say, like, whoever you are out there, whether or not you have the support of anybody else, if you have a dream, go for it. You have just as much ability and power within you to accomplish anything as I do, or as anybody else does, as Lil Nas X does, anybody in the world, really. Like, you could be the next one, like right now. Just post something and do it again tomorrow and post consistently. Like, that's the biggest advice I can give too on social media. Like, a lot of people wonder, like, how did this random ass person blow up? If you look at their page, they probably have thousands of videos that they've been posting every single day, like 1 to 4 videos that they've been just like grinding and believing in themselves enough to the point where other people start to believe in them too.
Yeah, you just got to believe in yourself. It all starts with yourself. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will for you, you know?
Yep.
And you just got to keep pushing. Like, at the end of the day, nowadays, at the end of the day, like, attention is really where the money is. Like, if you can grab attention, you can figure out a way to monetize on that. And yeah, aside from that, like, going back onto like everything that you do with marketing, whatever, like, the newest thing that you're working on is Icon Social Club, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So so like I said, I worked with like a couple hundred influencers in the space of just promotions and all that kind of stuff, bookings and everything. So Icon Social Club is like a smaller community of people that like, we're all like homies with each other, and we like have similar interests and want to travel and do different things like that. So it's kind of like a collective who is going to, like, we already did a Hawaii trip. We're planning a couple others in the near future, and also kind of like gonna sort of bring them into my music like plans, because I have a lot of really cool things I've been working on, not only for myself as an artist, but other artists as well. And some of them are like really talented as well and want to jump into music. So it's going to be a really cool, you know, it's a social club. It's a group of people who are, you know, not only friends, but who have influence, and we want to use that influence in a positive way.
Love that. Honestly, do we have any new music on the way?
Hell yeah. I got a bunch. It's just like a matter of deciding which one is coming first. But yeah, I have a lot of new music on the way.
You just gotta finalize all the details for the strategy, or what? Go back to the drawing board. Right now at the moment, who would you say are like your top 3 artists? If you had to pick 3 artists, who are you going with?
Damn. Like famous ones, or just like in general?
In general, you can go whoever. Doesn't have to be famous.
The Kid Leroy.
Okay.
Killing it right now.
He's on the come up, yeah.
He's amazing. He's just all around awesome.
Yeah.
Sabrina, my friend Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Yeah, she's from Hawaii. Blowing up on TikTok right now. I remember she had like 300 followers for like the longest time, and then popped up to 3K after a few months. And then she was just like so discouraged, just like not getting any views. And I was like, yo, just keep posting, pick an aesthetic and just like stick to it and keep posting. And she's like one of the most talented singer-songwriters ever. Like, she's incredible. And there's not like many people who like I can go into the studio with and feel like I don't have to explain anything. I don't have to try at all. It's just like telepathy. You know, like, yeah, I don't know how to really explain it. You just have to see her in action, but I can't say enough about Sabrina. She's fucking incredible.
Sabrina, now she's Sabrina, like, what is it?
Sabrina Jordan.
Sabrina Jordan, gotcha.
And yeah, so like, boom, now she's at like 100K on TikTok, like pretty much overnight, and built a fan base because she stuck to the plan.
It's crazy how like you can call it overnight, but at the end of the day, it was all those posts that she was just after a bunch of posts and nothing works, right? It just eventually through trial and error, you get there. Consistency is key.
And finally, Max Lewis, baby.
No, yeah, but honestly, like, thank you for being on here. Like, before we wrap this up, is there anything you wanna share with everybody? Any last words?
I think I said some good stuff.
Yeah.
What made you want to start the Creative Hills?
I've always been I've always been a big fan of interviews and people. Like I'm a big studier. Like I like learning of cause and effect of what makes what happen. And therefore all these people from like big artists from like Drake to like someone that's barely popping like No More Apollo, or someone like still with like in the 100K followers, even 5,000 followers. I'm like, all right, like what did it take for someone to get from point A to point B? And I think that's amazing. And from all these conversations with different people, like, and the more I grow as a person, as an artist developing, like I start meeting people that I'm genuinely fans of, that I'm like, okay, like how can I get the next generation? Like everybody that I have on this show, I truly believe in. Therefore, like right now, wherever we're at in this point in time, this is where we're at right now. But 5 years down the line, I can guarantee like most, if not every person that I have on here is going to be huge. Therefore, eventually the future generation can look at these videos and be like, oh shit, this is the blueprint, or this is how this person did it at that time. And they can advance and kind of give them a shortcut for themselves, you know, a roadmap for themselves as to wherever they're at, you know? So that's pretty much why. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. But thanks for coming on, and goodbye.
Thanks, man.